I told you, I'm a bit silly. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Chai Together. I am your host and founder, Pratipa Day. Today, you are tuning in for your cup of courage, hope, and imagination. And I'm here with Mixes Leon Perry. How do you feel?
Hello,
Wave them
family.
like you just don't care. Let it fall off. Fuck it.
Right.
Man,
Hey, we all need to fuck it sometimes. So hey.
dude, I really like this. So, I want to tell you a story that was mentioned. I'm going to tell in the live. So a friend of mine shared with me how to make whipped like coffee. I don't know if you know about that. Do you?
I'm not really a coffee drinker, so I don't
Me
really know.
either. Like how to make whipped coffee. I guess when it's like more thicker, like kind of like whipped cream kind of consistency. And I failed
Mhm.
totally. Like I failed. I made it
Mhm.
right here. You can't see. I can't bend it over, but um, that was a fail. I'm drinking like oat milk coffee. Tastes like butt.
Oh wow.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So, firstly, I want to say congratulations for coming on here because I know this has been quite a wait. And I think there's a misunderstanding, right? About the requirements to like be on here. I think you were concerned about that, right?
Yes, I was concerned about that.
And I know you had told me it's because I was having coaches and, all the successful entrepreneurial people and everything. And like, I want to ask you a question because I did take that into consideration, as in, like, when I started this, I want it to be where it's for everyone. It's like, you don't have to be, an entrepreneurial spirit. Like
Hmm.
everyone's stories overall. So when you said that, I was like, oh no, like, it's because of my programs, like I'm aligned with those people, and that's how I met everyone, like that are on that emotional, financial, spiritual, whatever successful level, is
Hmm.
for that reason. And so when you told me that, I was like, oh no. Like I was just like, I don't want people to feel as if like they don't fit the mold, like
Right.
um but then I know that's also something within, so that you finally came on here, I'm really happy about that.
Thank you. I finally acquired the confidence to
Yay.
come on here.
How did that happen? Do you want to talk about that? Like, how
Well,
did you go from not to doing it,
I really actually I didn't acquire the full confidence of
Mm-hmm.
that, but I just decided, this is something different, and
Oh.
I want to go through that uncomfortableness, and just do something that I don't do often. I mean, I don't think I've never been on a podcast, so it was something
Mhm.
for me that I could just, say yes to. So I said yes to it.
Wow. I
Yes.
just want to clarify, I have not uploaded Chai Together onto the podcast format, but I will be. That's my
Oh,
next step.
okay.
So right now it's just us and, social media, and YouTube, of course. But it's so interesting. Because honestly, the terminology behind it, I didn't understand myself as I continue. Because when I first started, right, my first guest, Kawan, when he had come on, he had said he called it a video podcast. So that's what I went about, and then I'm realizing like, oh wait, it's not a podcast, like as in like it's not on a podcast platform, and
Mhm.
it took me this long to like realize like what I need to do because I was just so, doing it my routine way. So
Mhm.
man, I'm happy you're here. So, first thing I want you to talk about is the mixes and, about that. Yeah, the background.
The mixes. Yes,
The
mixes is
mixes.
essentially a form of endearment, a title
Hmm.
before your first name. And so I chose mixes. It took me some time to really align to that title. Mixes is essentially
Hmm.
a non-binary kind of title for a person that identifies more in a non-binary sense when it comes to their gender identity.
Hmm.
So I chose mixes because of my gender identity as a non-binary person. And
I
and
like that.
non-binary is basically it's a like an umbrella term that
Hmm.
means different things for different people. But for me, I feel that I'm non-binary
Hmm.
because of a mixture of both like this maleness to me, and I feel like there is this like feminine or female identity also that I correlate with internally, mentally. A lot of
Mhm.
people think it's about sex, like your organs and things of that
Yeah.
nature, but it goes beyond that. It's more like a mental concept
Mm,
or idea that you have about yourself. And so with me, I feel mentally that I am in the middle, kind of like male and female
mhm.
binary. I feel like I'm in the middle of that, like a mesh of that.
We came from male and female both. So it's
Hmm.
we all have like masculine, feminine. Some people haven't even tapped into it. That's
Hmm.
why like there may be some males who are like too feminine and they say, oh, like you're like a girl, you're like or like, for a woman, like you're like a boy, like you grow hair like a boy, all those kind of comments. And I wanted
Hmm.
to tell you that, do you know of Alok Menon? Do you
Yes,
know of him? You do,
I know.
right? I recently discovered him. Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
them. I'm sorry. Recently discovered them. Because to me, I'm South Asian. So when I hear the name Alok, that's already subconsciously a male name in our culture. So that's
Hmm.
why I, just subconsciously said like him, but them. Because I
Hmm.
know they like to be called them. They are
I,
them.
I make that mistake too sometimes
Yeah.
when I'm addressing a person that's
Yeah.
non-binary. I make that. Yeah,
I
I
like
make that
that.
mistake. Yeah.
So, okay, so my undergrad, I studied
Hmm.
communication, right? And
Hmm.
interpersonal communication. And I had a class where we learned about gender being a social construct and more, regarding sex and how all this comes about. And I learned then that pink was actually a color for boys. Did you know that?
Before the 1940s, pink was associated more with a male masculine
Yeah.
color.
So
Yes.
so share with us like some of the background, like did you start researching more about yourself and more about gender? Like how did your journey start out? Like was it when you were young?
When I was like young, yes, I did have an inkling of
Mhm.
something that felt different, and I didn't understand what
Like
it
I don't fit
was.
in.
I didn't understand what it was. So I put it off for years. I grew up in as like a male masculine um, um, idea of myself. And
Mhm.
later on, like in my 20s, I dared myself that I'm gonna go up and buy some women's clothes and see how it
Ooh.
fits in it. It was just a random dare, you know.
Who dared you? Your friends or yourself?
myself, myself,
Okay.
yes.
Wow.
And I did that. And
Mhm.
when I after I did it, well, while I did it, I felt like this surge of what I call feminine energy. I don't really know how
Mhm.
to explain it, but I call it feminine energy. And after that, I felt this consistency in my stomach area, like solar plexus, this consistent
Mm.
kind of feminine. I don't know how to explain it, but
Mhm.
that's how I identify it as. And over the years, it just started kind of shifting in me, and it became more disseminated and integrated. So uh, I then started just expanding my own identity, throughout the
Mm.
years. And now I'm at a point where I'm pretty, I don't know what, I don't want to say set, but I'm pretty much kind of comfortable where I am right now. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So
So it took me.
basically, oh, go ahead.
Mhm. So it took me about 15 years to really get to this
Wow.
point where I am today.
Wow. Wait, do you mind sharing your age or age range if you don't mind?
39 years
Oh,
old.
what? Black does not crack 39.
39.
No way.
Yeah.
I would have never thought.
Well, I still feel mentally, I feel a
Yeah.
lot younger than that.
I would have not thought 39. So during that time when you're going through all these transitions, like, were you being bullied? Like, did you need support? Like, what did your family say? All of those things.
You know what? Actually, in school growing up,
Mm,
this identity was kind of invisible. It
mm,
wasn't a part of myself growing up
mhm.
as a student in elementary school and middle
Yeah.
school. So I I just grew up as a normal male kind of body
Mhm,
person. Um, but growing up in my 20s and my adulthood, I never been bullied,
mhm.
and I've never experienced that. So,
Wow.
you
But do you
know,
but do you feel that was just the timing, as in it's not where you were living and suffering, it's just how things went about? Or were you doing that purposefully so you don't get bullied?
no, I just
Mhm.
no. It was just something. Well, I actually did expect myself to be bullied,
Mhm.
but I'm thinking also because of my personality
Mhm.
that I wouldn't really allow that to happen.
Oh,
You
snap.
know, because I'm pretty kind of direct.
Wow.
Yeah, I can be, even though I'm pretty calm and reserved. I
Mhm.
can be direct, so
Mhm. Like me.
I would probably intimidate somebody.
Yeah. But you know what I recently learned? That when
Uh-huh.
someone's intimidated by you, it's because they're intimidated. It's not that you're intimidating, that they're
Mhm.
intimidated. It's that fear inside of them. Because you're
Yes,
mirroring, so they see something in you. It's their problem. It's not you. Like, they say you're too much, we're not too much. You know what I mean? It's just the other person needs to step it up and they need to become more secure within themselves, possibly. What are your thoughts
right.
on that? Do you feel the same way?
Yes, I do. I feel that when you're secure in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then you're secure in your confidence, and uh, you're also secure in being able to be responsible for, you know, um, your internal nature, your mind, and things like that.
Mm,
So bullying, I believe, is a form of you. I don't want to say lacking, but
mhm,
not knowing how to really direct that internal, stuff.
mhm,
So then you have to bully another person in order to get that, or compensate for that lack.
mm.
So yeah.
I like that,
So yeah.
that inner dialogue. So I want to ask you, what is it you like to enjoy doing? Like, do you see yourself writing maybe a book of some sort, of poems, or like a children's book or something? I don't know. What do you want to do?
I've always wanted to pretty much like write a book, but I don't know what to write about.
Like, it just came to me, like, to ask you, it's,
Uh-huh.
what would you write about? You know what I mean? Would you write about a memoir, like your journey, right? Or would you write, for other kids, maybe who are going through these transitions and are hiding, if you wanted to take it that route? That's a hard topic.
It is a hard topic.
It is a hard
Um,
topic. I haven't personally seen any books for like LGBTQ for like kids. Like, I've never seen that. So I think that would be a good idea. I don't know what's out there. But
I know for myself, I have a
mhm,
lot of healing to do.
mhm,
When it comes to extroverting myself
mhm,
and from the perspective of helping others,
mhm.
because uh, I have this thing where I feel that no one needs help, and
Mm,
that I don't really have the resources to help another person.
mm.
So
That's really
yeah.
interesting. Where
Uh-huh.
did that thinking come about? Because everyone, the people that are mainly in my circle, it's like everyone's doing and not in the sense that it's saturated. Like, yes, it can be saturated on social media, but they are, doing what they enjoy, like as coaches or,
Hmm.
speakers, etc. And they're helping, all these other people, right? who are
Mm-hmm.
engaging in that transformation with them, right? Financially or what have you. But for
Mm-hmm.
you, you have like an approach that Sadhguru talks about where he's like, I don't give advice. He's just saying facts that he knows, like he's called to say through a higher power, but he doesn't listen to advice. He doesn't give advice. Like there's a video where he said that. So I feel like you're kind of like everyone's right where they need to be. Like they don't need help in that sense. Is that what you mean? Like they'll figure it out themselves kind of thing?
Yes, but I don't mean to be like egotistical about it.
Yeah, like you don't
It's
need
not
help. Like if you have depression, you don't need help. No, not like that, right?
yeah, it's like you don't need help. Get out of it. No, it's not like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
definitely.
I really parallel with what you're saying, and
Mhm.
yes, I do feel that way. I feel that
Mhm.
everyone is right where they need to be, and that they do have the
Mhm.
resources that they need to get themselves out of, the problem that they're getting out. That they just have to tap into it. But I
Mhm.
mean, I really do want to help people. I just don't know how to really initiate that, you know.
Mhm. You know
So
what?
yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, go. Did you want to say something else?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was speaking with someone, and I don't know who, what, when, where, why, but the whole
Mhm,
point was that not everyone, is going to do something big. I think yesterday or today, that was said to me, like, not everyone's going to do something big. And generally, I'm saying this as in, not everyone's going to be a millionaire. Not everyone's going to be billionaire. Not everyone's going to like, do a nonprofit, write a book, do all these things. Purpose can just be, you know, um, it doesn't have to be so big. Like for a teacher, like, my high school teacher, her purpose is to help all the students. And she truly did help me, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have even had that bit of light in my times of, trouble. So she's in her purpose, as a teacher. Like, you understand what I'm saying? That's what she's going to do until she leaves the earth. That's her
mhm,
purpose. Like, you're saying that you yet have not, you don't know like what to do. And I feel like like I didn't know how to for a long time either. Like I was stuck in that thinking, like, how do I do this? Like where I was incompleting things, like I would leave things incomplete, like paintings and writing, and I wouldn't go back to it. Like I just did not have the discipline
mhm.
because of my mental health. So do you feel like for you it's just a journey of confidence, and for something to click, like you need something to click, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I need
Yeah.
something to click because it's like I mean I wanna do something. But I
Mhm.
just don't know what
But
that
you
is
are
yet.
doing it right now. You know that,
Really.
right? You showing up, you showing up as who you are, as mixes.
Hmm.
I'm gonna remember that now forever. Identifying as, mixes. I learned something from you today. You're showing up, in appearance of who you are, and you're basically showing up to tell society that this is also acceptable. Maybe not to you and your normalcy, but this is
Hmm.
acceptable in the world as well for people who aren't used to it, or who've never seen
Hmm.
someone who looks like you.
Hmm.
A lot of the times growing up, the most, I think, uncomfortable moments are when there's a trans person on a train or something.
Hmm.
And it's like people don't want to look at them, or don't look too much, or, those kind of comments, or like they may take offense, but it's like you don't really know what to do behavior wise. Like I would look at them, but then I would look away. I don't want them to think I'm staring, but I'm just looking at what they're wearing and their nails. Like they really pop. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, really dress up, and it's not for the reason like, oh, like I'm judging looking at you. I'm looking because I'm looking at, like, you know what I mean, like who they are. Like it's different, for people to see that.
Hmm.
It's not every day you get to see. I don't personally, where I live, someone who
Hmm.
really represents non-binary around here. I don't see that,
Mm.
so do you have
Right.
other friends like who identify as non-binary, etc.?
I have acquaintances
Okay.
that identify.
You're a whole different person.
I have acquaintances,
Uh-huh.
just people that I commune with,
Hmm.
part of the trans group or
Hmm.
of community here in Dallas. I do have people that I
Mm-hmm.
socialize with and things of that nature. But as a friend,
Mm-hmm.
I do have one friend. She is trans.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as non-binary friends, I don't have any non-binary friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Do you want to share
but
with us, you know, regarding the terminology, do you want to just review some of the terminology for clarification, such as,
sure.
what you identify as, and then a trans person, and then the difference between someone being non-binary and, et cetera? Because a lot of people don't know, I believe, including myself,
Oh,
possibly. So,
yes, yes. We can exclude that if you like.
yeah.
Hmm.
No, will you
And
share? Yeah.
you want to share the difference?
Yeah, like, no, will you talk about that? Like about, the different terminologies and being someone who identifies as trans. Like you said,
Uh-huh.
you don't have another friend that's non-binary like you, like those differences, and just
Hmm.
more about the community and more about, the terminology and things that you've acquired. Um, how to know the proper terminology,
Oh,
you
sure,
know?
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
trans is it's a very individual process, but generally trans is an umbrella term,
Mm-hmm.
and non-binary can fit within that trans umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
And the non-binary is essentially you have binary male, and you have binary female.
Mm-hmm.
And binary male would be a person that mentally identifies as what they are born as a
Mm-hmm.
male.
Mm-hmm.
Female is a person that a binary female would be a person that identifies mentally with the sex, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is female. So
Mm-hmm.
non-binary is a person that generally they identify as something different from their sex, but not to a an extreme degree of being centered as the opposite sex. So, like for example, a binary trans person
Mm-hmm.
is a person that was born the sex of like a male, for example, but
Mm-hmm.
mentally they identify as the opposite of male, which is female. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and a binary trans man is it's the opposite. Is a person that was born female and identifies
Mhm.
as male. So
Mm.
that's what binary is, but non-binary is like the gray area between that. Yeah,
Mm. Like you're
yeah,
both. That's how you're
both,
identifying, you said, right? Like you
right,
feel both sides of
exactly.
the sexes, like man and
Mm-hmm,
woman. You feel as both.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or it
May
can
I
be
ask
fluid,
you,
you know.
or what is it?
Go
Hmm.
ahead. Or, or it can be fluid. It can fluctuate from man,
Yes. Can you
male
talk
to
about
yeah.
gender fluidity as well? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and your thoughts on that? Hmm.
Yes, gender fluidity. I'm also gender fluid, and that essentially means that you fluctuate from the binary of male and female, or you can fluctuate in other genders too, because there is a gender identity of being non-gendered, you
Hmm.
know, or multi-gendered. So it just gets very complex.
Yeah. That's why I wanted you to
Yeah.
break some of that down. And I feel like, so when you were growing up, right, and discovering yourself with the outfits and, really embracing it, you didn't know all this
Uh,
terminology that we have now, right? Now it's like more
no,
advanced
yes, it's more advanced. It took me years to really progress into the understanding of where I am now.
because now it's, LGBTQ plus, and it's not in a humorous way. It's in a way that, just like how science grows, it's like this aspect of human beings representing themselves. Like there's more research on it. There's Pride Day. Like there's so much going on. But one thing I want to tap into is I discovered this long time ago, suicides, especially for someone, just even without all the other terms, just someone who's gay, that is out and hiding. And a lot of times I saw a lot of documentaries and things where, people were suffering that they commit suicide rather than live their life as
Hmm.
who they are. What are your thoughts
Hmm.
on that? Like, do you know of people, or has that, happened to anyone around you personally? Like, who's being, in suffering because of how they are?
I haven't really been around the LGBT community like that to really have that kind of experience
Hmm.
with a person that has had that
Yeah.
experience. So I wouldn't be able to tell you or share something related to that, unfortunately.
I think it's really like cool that, I'm seeing you as perspective, as in like, I want to know your journey throughout all this, but it's so interesting that to you, it's not even where, you stepped into it. And when I say that, I mean, like, it's not where you're so immersed in it. Like, this is just who you are, but it's not where like you're over here just hanging out with only people who are like you, or you're not, only watching things that are regarding like who you are. You're just,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna say this with like respect, as in like you're just normal. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
as I always say, like, how I have like rib tattoos, but I don't remember that I have them. It's kind of like your appearance, your look, who you are is just kind of like it's a part of you that it's not even a big deal, right?
Hmm. That's how I see
Yeah,
it.
because that's what I'm getting from you. Because I think there could be people who, when I would speak to them, let's say, if they're non-binary like you,
Hmm.
hi, Sharon, and they may have like a whole background of stories of this, that, and the third, but with you, it's just pretty cut and simple, you know? Is that your
Pretty,
personality? Like,
pretty. It's. I think it's my personality,
mm-hmm,
and it's also because of what you mentioned, just about, being cut and dry and things like
mm-hmm.
that. And
So I know you had said that you haven't tapped into what it is that, you want to be doing. But like, do you have a
mhm.
dream that you want to share? Like something that you would like to leave behind as an impact, or?
My strong belief is that everyone is right where they need to be. Um,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if I do want to make an impact, I want to make an impact for me, you know,
Mm.
and if that resonates with other beings,
Mhm.
then that's great. That's awesome.
Can you
But
yeah, can you elaborate a little bit on that, like, impact for you, you know?
m- my own my own idea of success, what's successful
Mhm.
for me,
Mhm.
um, where I want to end up in my own journey,
Mhm.
and things that resonate with me, and just uh, make me a better person. If I'm satisfied with my own journey, then if that resonates for other people, then that's that's awesome. But I believe on a very spiritual level that everything that we do will resonate out in the field, the what do you call it, the unconscious field, and it does
Mhm.
make an impact with everybody. Like
Mm.
for me, I believe that meditation impacts everyone around me, you know, on some degree, you know. So it's not only an objective thing, it's also a spiritual thing. And
I agree with you. I'm glad I asked you to elaborate, because when you say impact for me, people may perceive that you're selfish. You only care about yourself, not others.
mhm.
And who knows, maybe that is the case, right? But you don't have to share if it's personal. Because let me tell you the truth. The truth is, you know, in the world we live in, there's, people who do just care about themselves, and that is just, their environmental, how they're raised, or, it's just who they are, and they may not want to change, like from within. Then there's people who care more about others, like my personality is, I'm more of a giver, and I'm more of like, I want to leave an impact that affects, that will benefit, the whole world, like once I leave. That's my thinking. But you need balance, so you need both sides, so it's like not to be judgmental and biased about that. And I think not everyone is able to do that. You understand? Like, I think it takes like a higher level of thinking to
Mm-hmm.
understand that there's a balance in the world. Because if we were all like here, like, there would be no, you know what I mean, no fluctuation. But I like what you said regarding the meditation and
Mm-hmm.
how it will affect others, because it's you who's changing. So when your energy changes, the way people perceive you and interact and approach you is going to be different because you shifted. So now they're shifting for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that
And
happen? Because that happened with me. Yeah.
it's not even like it's not even a thing where they have to approach me. It
Mm,
can be just like, for example, now this is just only my belief.
mm-hmm.
Like, meditation, like for example, um, it can impact another person in China. They can wake up in the morning and just have a good mood, just be in a good mood,
Yes.
because we're all connected. So,
Where did I see that? Thanks for bringing that up. You're bringing up things that I haven't been in touch with since I was young.
mm,
I don't know what movies or what shows, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about, like, scientifically in the world. Like, you see in movies where an event will take place, someone already dreamt of it, like as a visionary, they're a psychic, they already had a dream. This is happening. Okay, I have a perfect example I just thought of. Hi, thanks everyone for tuning in, Ronnie, Parm, Sharon. So the movie, it's called Noble. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a real story about oh my gosh, what's her first name? Okay, we're gonna skip her first name, but I think it's Amy Noble. I'm not sure, but Miss Noble, right?
hmm
She was in the States, right? She went to sleep. She was in an abusive domestic violence relationship. She had kids, it was fraud. Like the guy, was controlling her everything, right? She was working at the restaurant, which he
hmm
played out to be that it would be her restaurant. And then she ended up being like a server. So he like mistreated her. She was watching news about Vietnam, like, violent, the war, everything, right? She went to sleep after he abused her. She had this very vivid dream. It's a real story, and this is a real organization still today. And she had this vivid dream, and she dreamt of these two girls sitting in a certain area, and she dreamt of, all the things she's going to do before it even happened. And then
hmm
later in her life, when she's older, her kids are older, she's done with that relationship, she left, etc. She was called to go to Vietnam. Like, she packed all her stuff and she went to Vietnam. And this is on Amazon
hmm
Prime, called Noble, and it's a movie. And she went there, and everything she had in her vision about the two little girls, there were two little homeless girls that she helped feed. Then it became a home. Then it expanded to a medical center, etc., etc. But it shows her journey being there, and fighting for these children, etc. Like, that was her calling, because she went through abuse. She went through a gang rape. Okay, she was homeless, sleeping in a park. She went through where her father put her in an orphanage, like, as in her mother died. She's from Ireland, and she was separated from all her family. All these horrible things happened, but she never gave up. And like God or whoever, right, instilled this vision inside of her. And whatever she dreamt that night in that dream, she ended up doing it. And now this is a organization in Vietnam, the Noble Foundation. This is a real life big organization, all started from a vision. So that's why I wanted to make that point, because you know how sometimes people will say, like, maybe a lady will come up to you and say, some people, when they come on, they share these kind of angelic experiences or things that are unexplainable. Even for me, I met like angels along the way when I was like suicidal or in trauma, who helped me, but then I never saw them again. Or it felt like were they even real? Like, I like, was it a real person? I don't know.
hmm
But the whole point is, like, they'll like come over and say, like, oh, you're gonna do something big in your life, or like, do this. And someone recently came on and had an interview, and they did what this lady had said, and they're highly successful today because they listened to what this person said. You know what I mean? Like a
hmm
calling, like a God is messaging through somebody, that kind of thing. And it worked.
hmm
So that goes to show that I feel like there is special, powers and things like that in the world. And it's kind of the same with like demonic things, like, and I don't watch horror or anything, but even regarding demonic things, when like certain, mantras and voodoo, like all these different things, like energy as well that's put out. And I could be here, something could happen in China by me doing something from here, like some kind of setup,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
I don't want to call it. So that I just wanted to point that out to you, that that movie and this woman, like when I discovered her, it made me more ambitious for Try Together, because I just thought, wow, like she survived all those things, including gang rape. And just she was working, and then I'm going to go back to you, but she was working at this factory to save up money for a gravestone for her mom. And then
Mhm.
she was sleeping homeless in the park, and she got gang raped, you know, when she just was working to save money to get her mom, you know, a stone for her grave. It is the most intense movie. It takes you through ups and downs, but this is a real ass life story. And I've never seen a movie like this. And she came from shit. Like they were so poor. You know what I mean? She had
Mhm.
nothing. And her, like, she had nothing as an orphan. And then to doing something big like this, I feel like it's one of the most inspirational things I've ever seen. And if she didn't fulfill that, like, right, like what she was supposed to do, she didn't go to Vietnam, none of that would have ever came to life. And she saw the same exact things that she saw in her vision, and she held that vision. So when they talk about manifesting, I feel it's about action as well. Like you can manifest, but you know, you have to also do the thing or it's not going to happen.
Right.
What are your thoughts on like
Exactly.
everything I said? And watch that movie. For
Okay, I will. Your thoughts about everything I said is,
real. Mm.
it resonates with me. I don't have much to say about it because I haven't seen the movie, so I don't have
I know.
that
I
I don't
know.
have that emotional context
I
to it to
know.
really,
I know.
yeah.
But the
But
but your point was, you know, excuse me, that you could be happy here and someone can be happy there because of your meditation. And I agree with that. That reminds me of my ethical communication class as well. We talked about like Aristotle and Socrates, etc. I don't remember what each person stood for, but basically we were asked a question that our action today, what I do today will impact the rest of the universe. Would I still do this action today? You know, that kind of thinking,
exactly,
that
yeah.
negative thing, if you rob a bank, it's like, okay, this is going to be in the news. Someone else is going to go out and rob a bank. It's going to be a domino effect. Like, is that what you want to leave behind? You know, your actions implement over to other people's actions, because even movies, we see a lot of, you know, that theory regarding, you know, video games, that people go out and commit crimes after playing certain amount of hours for video games. There's been studies on this, and for my undergrad project as well. And people go out and kill, or they're not in their right mind because they're so consumed by, you know, what they're imagining in their mind by the game. So
Mhm.
I really like the point that you brought up.
Right.
I know I deep
Yeah,
dive, but I had to, because I couldn't think of a better example than that movie, how that vision was instilled in her mind, a dream. And it was like,
mhm,
she was like a medium, like a psychic ability. All this time she's being abused, beat, all this stuff. But God's like, hey, I have something special for you. Cause she's like, she would go to church and pray, like, just like kill me. Like you have me going through rape, this, that, like nothing was getting better for her. Like, you know what I mean? Like nothing, like half
mhm,
of her life. And then she had that vision, and then the rest of her life changed, because she was
mhm,
just like, why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean? Like she was a singer. She wanted to be a singer. She's like, why are you like ruining my life? Like, I don't deserve this.
mhm,
And you know, she had kids and stuff, and they were watching her get beat up, and she's like, I'd rather just die. You know what I'm saying? And then she had that dream, and she got the F out of there, and she never looked back. And like, yeah, so
right.
yeah, man, I feel so excited about it. Like that, you know what I mean? It's free flow. So, but
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you something. May I?
As I just want to just make one point before
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
ask me this question.
Go ahead.
My the thing that I'm understanding for myself is that
Hmm.
when I realize that I'm living a dream every day, that
Ooh.
that everything is a dream,
Mm-hmm.
then I can control that dream with my intentions, you
Mm.
know, and then make things happen. Because since we're all connected,
Mm.
then my thoughts and intentions about things and those things will draw the experiences to me, you know. But I believe that if everything is a dream, then I can make things happen, and that I'm the one that is in charge
Mm,
or in control of my, destiny. So,
because we
yeah,
have the power.
right.
I just figured out you were saying something's not clicking. It just clicked for me that you're a spiritual coach.
I can definitely be a spiritual coach, I believe.
Yeah. Everything you're saying and have been saying and regarding meditation, and I know you've been doing your meditation for I've been talking to you for months, and this is the lifestyle you actually live. And
Mhm.
hearing your thoughts and that different way of thinking that most people may not think, right? Because they don't walk the walk, as in they don't do that in their daily routine. Because whatever comes out of your mouth is because it's in your subconscious, is the life you live. Like the things I
Exactly.
talk about, like how I just talked about that, it's because I really consume that information. I'm applying it by sharing the example because I've watched it 2 times. Like it's something of my interest. So whatever you really do truly like does come out into life. And I feel like this may be your journey of where you're headed is regarding the
Mhm.
spiritual, um, anything spiritual that you want to do. I feel like you'd be really great at personally.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Mixes. I just want to tell everyone
What did
again,
you want to ask me?
huh?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't want to ask you anything.
Oh, you wanted to ask me something and I cut you off.
I know. No, you didn't cut me off. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know. I just free flow. It's just whatever comes to mind, I do. And then if I don't, I'm like, hey, I don't remember my thought.
That's cool.
But I just want to say thank you for being here today. And if anyone has any questions, you may ask Mixes Leon Perry. So far we've talked about, regarding the name Mixes Leon Perry and what that stands for and being non-binary, etc. So you guys can go check that out again from the beginning. And yeah, thank you for being here. Would you like to say anything else today, Leon?
No, but you opened up a can of potential. I mean, there's so
Woo!
much
That's what the fuck
that I
I
would like to
do.
say, but I just,
Huh?
yeah, I think we're good for
You
now.
said
Yeah,
I opened up a can of worms. What'd you say?
no, no, not a worms,
Oh,
but potential. Like there's so much
ooh, yeah.
that's connecting to me now that I
Mhm.
would love to talk about, but because of time, I understand
Oh,
that.
we can still talk more. It's okay. Yeah, talk
Oh,
like share something.
oh,
What?
um, I don't. Well, I have other journeys too,
Yeah.
that
Uh-huh.
like, I've been like, I don't want to say a victim of, but
Mhm.
I think throughout my life, my confidence that I have, part of my confidence is because of how I talk, you know,
Mm. Okay.
because of my speech impediment, you
Mhm.
know, and I've had a speech impediment since my like growing up. I
Mm.
recognized it when I was 5 years old, and I think that's also one other aspect of me that has really molded me into the individual that I am today, and has gave me the confidence that I have.
Wow.
You know,
Leon, you do know that I'm studying to be a speech pathologist, right?
really, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes. I'm waiting for my acceptance letter, but yes, that is what I'm majoring in for school.
Wow. Okay.
But so I
Well,
want to
we have
ask,
something in
so
common.
this is a sign. Everything like
Hmm.
I've been getting signs. It's like when you make a decision, people who have experienced it, etc., will gravitate towards you because I've been coming across people that have something to do with speech therapy or speech pathology, and it's because I'm stepping into that role. That's why I'm. You know how you said universe? That's why, because I didn't know that about
Confirmation.
you. Let me just make
Hmm.
it clear to the viewers. I didn't know that about you. I didn't
Oh.
speak to you long term, on phone or anything to know that.
Hmm.
But, I know things were different back in the day. They do offer that in schools now, but did you see a speech pathologist growing up or speech
Yes.
therapist?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
I did. It went well, but I think it was kind of a waste because I don't think it really helped me. I
Hmm.
don't know. It may have, because I'm living in my body.
Yeah.
and I can't see outside of me, so I don't know if it actually helped or not.
Mm,
But I mean, I really liked my speech teachers that I had,
yeah.
my speech pathologists that I had in the
Was
past.
she were they a pathologist or just a so pathologist, like where I would diagnose your communication disorder, like I would figure out why, you have a speech impediment, and then we work on that therapy for maybe months to years,
Yes,
Is that what they
that's what
did,
it
right?
was.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
Well, maybe
yeah.
they did the best they could.
Yes, and I have to give them that.
Aw.
I
What
think they did the best.
was it not as clear before? Like, was it worse before, like as a child than now?
Well, growing up, right, I can't see my progression with that because
Mm,
I don't know if I've gotten better or not. Actually, well, according to my friends, I've gotten better.
mm.
You know, so I have to take their word for it.
Aw.
I've learned to dance with it though.
Aw.
So if I kind of like get a block in my speech, I kind of dance with it inside my mind
Mm.
and move with the word and just
I
yeah.
saw
So
you do that.
yeah.
You gotta take your time. Do you feel like that may be one of the underlying reasons of why you haven't stepped into maybe being a spiritual coach, or, something's not clicking? Do you feel like subconsciously that may be one of the reasons? Because your speech?
mm, maybe, maybe.
It's cool to journal that, and you should journal your journey. I don't know if you have old
Mhm.
videos, but I would go back and see if I could find old videos, family videos or
Mhm.
stuff, and see like how I used to talk versus now. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
milestones.
Right.
So much
Because
good stuff.
I'm the kind of person that if I didn't have a speech impediment,
Hmm.
I would be talking to everybody. I would be like, yo, 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 yo.
Yeah.
So it's like I think a lot of that has made me more introverted.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's stopping you. It's holding you back.
What was that?
I said it's holding you back. We need to do something about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really like, I'm happy that you came on Try Together though. And do you
Mhm.
like, if you feel comfortable, discussing, I just want to say, do you feel that's the reason why you're not going on other podcasts and things yet, because you're not ready, like you haven't, you know.
I actually don't know how my life would be without a speech impediment, so I couldn't
Yeah.
really tell you yay or nay on that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you'd go on to more shows after this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that.
I mean, me having a speech impediment wasn't the reason that I didn't want to come to try
Okay.
together. The main
Okay.
reason was because I just didn't know the formality of it,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I was like, well, I don't have this or this
Oh,
kind of.
yeah.
So yeah.
Leon, we're really fucking informal here. The requirement is to be your fucking self.
Yes. Okay, that's great.
Like, man,
That's
I
great.
remember I just want to say, like, I remember when I had no therapy and no control over my tongue, and I used to always say, like, fuck this, fuck, like, et cetera, et cetera, home. My dad was like, what is all
Uh-huh.
this fuck? Like, what is this word fuck? Like,
Right. Uh-huh.
dude, man, I was not doing well. I used to curse a lot. Like
Really.
now it is maintained, but I
Uh-huh.
had a mouth. Like,
I have a mouth when I'm by myself, but when
like
I'm
what am I
around
doing?
others,
You talking to yourself a bit like, what am I doing? What is this shit? Like, what is
yeah, right, right.
I can see that for you. Bro, I could even see you, and I just want to tell the viewers, so Leon told me earlier that I could call should I say them? Him.
I'm not pronoun
Oh,
specific, so
so it doesn't matter, right? I just
doesn't
want to
matter.
clarify. I would call him bro. So, Yeah, because you're non-binary, meaning it's her and him. So that clarifies
Well,
it,
it
right?
depends on the individual,
On
but
you.
for
Yeah.
me, I'm really flexible. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, thank you for that. God bless. Because I need some time.
I know I was one day I was at a gas station and
Mm-hmm.
this guy he called me by you
Mm.
know and he had this look on his face like I thought I was gonna react negatively to what I mean, how he addressed me, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
Because he said he.
Yeah, because a lot of people, well, I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people do get really offended, if
Yes.
you do not say the correct pronouns. So
Yeah.
he had this look on his face like he thought I was gonna respond negatively to what he said. And I was
You
like,
know,
I just told him, like, have a good day.
oh, well, I'm glad because, it goes back to how the other person doesn't know. Like, they don't know you, and we have to keep that in mind.
Right,
I take my own
exactly.
advice. But yeah, to keep that in mind and stay calm. And,
Mm-hmm.
also something came to mind that I want to mention is, there are people out there who don't like trans people or gay people, etc., right? And it's for
Mm-hmm.
their reasons because they feel like, why do they need a pride day to show off like who they are, or because it's been a fight, like just like Black Lives Matter, right? It's like we're angry because we already went to police, did everything, they're the one harming us, so now we're gonna get angry and make some noise on the streets. That's what it came to. Before,
Mm-hmm.
you know for trans people, etc., like that, for it to get, so people, there are some people over the years where, I don't know, someone I would come across or something, or like, people who are traditional, maybe some South Asian people or other cultures as well. They don't
Mm-hmm.
like that because they feel like they're getting that, trans people are getting attention, or that, this is inappropriate, et cetera, et cetera. Like basically their own opinions, they're projecting onto the world that this is how it should be. You don't have to make a scene about like dressing a certain way, et cetera. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, did you ever receive any like comments or negative feedback about, being yourself?
I have not received any negative feedback about being
Leon, you are
myself,
damn special.
and
People
then
wish to
that
be you. Holy shit.
you know, I mean, I'm surprised that I haven't, but it's partly because I'm so flexible, with my identity.
Mm,
Um, I, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but and this is not something that's absolute, but I'm
mhm.
saying that some people can cause their own problems, you know.
I like that.
Yeah, and me, I'm just not the kind of person to,
Mhm.
if you address me a certain way or you think about me like this, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, hey, that's cool. If that's
I
what you're
like that.
thinking. That's peace.
I
So
like that. You know what
yeah.
it is? I believe that it all comes down to acceptance. Acceptance that there's people here with tattoos. Acceptance there's
Hmm.
women entrepreneurs out here. Acceptance of
Hmm.
all different things now. Being child
Exactly.
free. It's interesting. I haven't really mentioned this a lot. I mentioned it, I think briefly once or twice, but with being well thought out, I made a decision to be child free, and this isn't nothing is set in stone, but with what I want to do with my life and moving forward, maybe, I may want to adopt a son later on in my years, but yeah, that's the decision I made. And that's not accepted as well. Like, especially in my culture, like that may be questioned moving forward. Like, or that regarding marriage, like I was recently being set up for an arranged marriage. I said, that's not going to work for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a traditional Indian girl. You know what I mean? There's nothing,
I I
hold up.
see that.
And just to be transparent, I'm bisexual
Hmm.
as well. So
Hmm.
I, I'm gonna be sitting there like, just so you know, I've had an abortion. Just so you know, like, you know, I'm bisexual. Do you still accept me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want kids. That's the first thing I tell when I discuss with someone. I'll let them know, hey, I don't want kids.
That's the
I'm not
first
a
thing I
vessel for you.
discussed
I'm
too.
not a vessel for
Hmm.
you to birth children out of here. I'm not
Exactly.
going through that process again. So
Hmm.
I'm very vocal, and I'm such a strong, independent thinker and a
Hmm.
woman that I won't, I believe I just don't settle for less. And it's like, I'm just like, next, 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 because I'm not willing to, those are my non-negotiables. You know, if you
Hmm.
do want that, um, go find someone who will work for you. But I don't want that for my life. And I feel like I care about my mental health so much. And a few people ask me why that decision. It's like, because I care about my mental health. You know what I mean? Because it's already, I don't know whether people want to accept this or not, but throughout this whole year and in general, it's like already a lot to, let's say, work and make time for yourself, as in self-care, etc. So for me to be responsible to do that for, let's say, 1 to 4 other people, depending on how many kids, right? That is a lot of pressure to put on one person. From my thinking,
Hmm.
for me at least, it doesn't work for me, that kind of responsibility, because a child is something serious, as in this is your
Exactly.
responsibility for. This is not something that's going to go away. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Hmm.
upbringing a human being. And there was a documentary, like, video I was watching on YouTube versus someone who's not sure about having kids, and a lady who had like 4. And the
Hmm.
lady told the one who was unsure that don't overthink it. And in the comments, people are like, you should overthink it. You should think before you make a decision like that. Because the lady
Hmm.
had 4 and this one got 0. She's like, I don't know if that's for me. And the lady's like, don't overthink it, just do it. Oh no.
I thought she meant like don't overthink it. Like if that's something that you don't want to do, if you don't want to have kids, then
No, no, no.
don't
Like,
overthink
don't
it. Don't.
overthink it, just do it. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see.
So it's
Yeah.
like, as in, you're thinking, because I don't know. Like, I'm not in a relationship. So as in, like, you know, when the couples debate and like, do we want kids and not? And then of course kids will say, this and this, but it's so worth it. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm hella
Hmm.
burned out, I'm stressed the fuck out. I'm not living my dreams because I made a decision to birth children and I didn't fulfill my career, etc. Now I sacrificed my life for my kids. That's the fucking reality of it. Let me just tell you, because I
Hmm.
remember when I was pregnant and I didn't have shit for my kids, and
Hmm.
I remember thinking like, how the fuck am I in a position where I'm fucking homeless, I'm fucking in my second trimester with twin children, and I don't got shit to give to my kids if I bring them into this world. Situation like that, and then regular situation a person may have where they have a job, etc., and still not fucking enough. So in this economy, etc., etc., you understand what I'm saying? I
Exactly.
just feel like it's a whole big thing, but some people, just because society is just programming that, all right, marriage, kids, or kids, marriage, like whatever. And it's like, not for everyone, doesn't have to be a part of the picture, you know?
You have the same ideology I have about that too, so I
Oh,
can really resonate with that. Yeah.
that's why we're friends. Okay. We can talk about that more later. But yeah,
Yeah.
as in, like, I've experienced it. Like, I've experienced pregnancy, I've experienced the aftermath, like, I've experienced it. And like, for me to, that made me value my worth more as a woman. That's why I won't just be with a man who doesn't understand what a woman's body goes through, and they never will. But I've been
Hmm.
through the pain, and it's like, I'm not willing to do that again because of someone who wants that from me. It's like, you go and get it somewhere else, but I'm not putting my
Exactly.
body through that. You understand?
Right.
Like, that's true self-care to me, is me
Hmm.
knowing better and being like, I'm not, especially me being in my 30s coming up, like by the time, you know, I get my doctorates, I'll be like 35, who knows? And it's like, for me to put my body through that, I have to focus on career, I have to build Chai Together. Like, I have a big dream for Chai Together. And people who have big dreams like that, even my college professors who did PhDs,
Hmm.
they said that they wouldn't have been able to do their PhD if they had kids. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You have to make a choice. Like, I want to be a doctor. Like, I want to build Chai Together to a global big scale. For me to do
Hmm.
that, I can't be giving attention, time. I don't want to put my child in a daycare. I don't want that kind of thing happening. You know what I mean? So that's why I made that well thought out decision. I know
Hmm.
I got real passionate, but like, I don't know, Leon, like as I grow older and since all the shit I've been through since last year, all this stuff, it just makes me think like people don't think like about their decisions. Like it's not a joke. Like you don't just go to welfare, like, oh, welfare will take care of your child. That's not how that shit works. Cause I went there. Let me tell you. So it's not how it works. It's not how it's in the movies. It's real life. That's why recently my friend said like there was like a meme thing about like fairy tale, your fairy tale will come. She was like, like fairy tales, like, you know what I mean? Like that's dangerous. Like that kind of fairy tale thinking because we live in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Expand on that.
So, and I asked her to do that as well because my perspective is like your fairy tale will come. Like I believe like my fairy tale will come true. Like that's like my dream or whatever, right? But from her perspective, that growing up on Disney and those kind of things, like, you know, that dreamer world, like fantasy, like I didn't really grow up on Disney much, but as in like things that are not realistic, like Barbie looking a certain way, etc. Like that kind of fairy tale was her definition of it. And you know, it's dangerous because a lot of times people think, you know, love stories, and I still believe in all that, but she was sharing her perspective that regarding like, and I was saying it could be dangerous regarding love stories when you meet someone and then you just get married and then you see kids in the movie, etc. It's like that's not really how, you know what I mean, it goes. Like the person could be narcissistic. They never talk about like mental health or the dangers of these fairy tale scenarios. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yes.
Like that was the whole point, that they're showing, you know, kids and people that there's these fairy tale scenarios that aren't realistic, you know?
Right.
So that was the whole point.
Yeah.
It was a whole ass conversation, huh?
Yeah. I really like the conversation. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say at the same time, I think we do need to look at things from a simple perspective, but inject reality into that, you know.
Yeah. Because I didn't overanalyze when I saw that meme. Like I just shared it with my friends, but I didn't think like the word fairy tale, what does it mean? To me, you know, I still want, you know, I would want like, you know, a fairy tale wedding as in like to my dream. I still have my dreams, right? But from someone else's perspective that has a negative connotation, because fairy tale is I forget what they said, but basically something that is not true. You know what I mean? I don't know what your definition is of it, but we didn't finish having that conversation, but we understood like one another's point already. Like, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of ways to look at that. It's just
Like a
from what
fairy
I'm saying.
tale.
But
Yeah. Wow. Whole ass conversation. Well, this was fun. Any last words? Where can people reach you? Instagram, all that.
People can reach me
Where are you at?
on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Blackwater Power, and
Really?
also on Instagram. Or that's my URL. On my URL, you'll see the little name after that says Blackwater Power. So I think
I
if you
don't
type
see
that in the
it.
search bar, though.
It says Leon Perry.
No, I mean like on the URL. You know, if you're on a computer or something, and you just,
URL?
yeah, the URL.
Is it pronounced Earl? I have no idea. It's okay.
I don't know.
I love how, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to know everything. I like that.
Right.
You know? A lot of people don't come on lives and stuff because they're so concerned regarding mistakes. They don't know what they'll say, if they'll say something right, like all of that fear-based thinking and being overanalyzed. I don't overanalyze things. I'm just a yes or no person.
I used to overanalyze a lot. Yeah.
I'm so thankful I don't have anxiety anymore, that I don't like overanalyze. Like I used to have like panic attacks over it. Like I like really was bad. Like I'm telling you, like I was in some serious shit. Like I would not before be able to do like this. Like I did not have the confidence. I didn't even speak on camera till last year when I started this. I never did that. So can you believe it? Now I'm so free. I'm just like, oh, I'm live. I'm like, oh, well, fuck it. Like just like, oh, whatever. I'm being myself. Like, you know, if I gotta do something, touch my hair. Like it's just like honestly, it becomes so easy, easygoing.
Yeah, exactly. It gets easier over time.
It's like fluid.
Yeah, you're
Thank
right.
you so much for your time today. Thank you, Laura, and thanks everyone for tuning in
You're
today.
welcome.